What in the world has happened to our system of education? Michael Snyder reports, is the education system on the brink of collapsing? Our kids can't really read very well, and it turns out that they aren't very good at math either. But those running our system of education continue to tell us that they are doing a wonderful job. If they just had more funding, they insist, our test scores would go way up. Of course, that is complete and utter nonsense. Our system of public education was a failure back when I was in school many years ago, and it's much worse now. At this point, only about a third of all U.S. students in the 4th, 8th, and 12th grades are proficient in reading. In 2022, the National Assessment of Educational Progress reported that approximately one-third of students in 4th, 8th, and 12th grades are proficient in reading. The situation even gets worse for certain groups, such as people from a different race, older generations, and those who belong to low-income groups. So, do you know what that means, what this means? It means that approximately two-thirds of all students in the 4th, 8th, and 12th grades are not proficient in reading. Wow, that's extremely, really terrible. And it's also being reported that 40% of our students are essentially non-readers. Biennial testing through NAEP consistently shows that two-thirds of U.S. children are unable to read with proficiency. An astounding 40% are essentially non-readers. Most are taught through phonics, a system of instruction based on sounding out letters that is mandated in at least 32 states and the District of Columbia. The phonics method of converting each letter to a particular sound is totally unsuited to the English language. As but one example, E, the ABCDE, the letter E, the most common letter in print, has 11 different pronunciations. And, eat, vein, eye, etc., including its role in the much-taught silent E, tape, cute, fine, etc. This failure has been endemic from the early days of the country when Benjamin Franklin fought against phonics. The steady expansion of this mode of instruction will not fix the situation. Isn't that great? We're headed for a future where approximately 40% of the entire population cannot even function in society. In some areas of the country, it's even worse. In Chicago, only about 1/6 of all third graders are able to read at grade level. About 1/6 of all third grader students in Chicago public schools can read at grade level. For low-income and minority students, the share of proficient readers is even lower. They tax the living daylights out of us to fund these public schools, so where is all that money going to? One activist that was asked about the current state of affairs openly admitted that the kids can't read. The kids can't read. Nobody wants to just say that, said Kareem Weaver, an activist with the NAACP in Oakland, California, who has framed literacy as a civil rights issue. This is a national disgrace. Of course, our kids are not too good at math either. In fact, U.S. students are just established another all-time record low on an international exam. American students scored an all-time low in math on a major international exam, which provided the first comparison of global achievement since the pandemic radically changed education around the world. According to data released Tuesday, American 15-year-olds had a 13-point plunge out of 1,000 on the PISA, Program for International Student Assessment exam, which was given last year to 620,000 students in 81 countries worldwide. Yay for our public schools. We're hitting levels that our students have never hit before. But even though our students can't read, write, or do math very well, they just keep getting moved through the system year after year. As long as you show up, you're going to pass. We have become a participation trophy society, quote unquote, where nobody is ever supposed to fail or feel bad about themselves. This is true even at a formerly elite institute such as Yale University. At this point, nearly 80% of the grades that are given to undergraduates at Yale fall within the A range. A new report recently revealed that Yale University is apparently handing out grades in the A range like they are candy. An estimated 78.97% of all grades given to undergraduates at the prestigious university fell within the A range. The surprising development has left both students and faculty alarmed that high grades appear to have lost their value, according to New York Times. Shelley Kagan, a philosophy professor, said, "When we act as though virtually everything that gets turned in is some kind of an A, where A is supposedly meaning excellent work, we're simply being dishonest to our students." The grade report was put together by economics professor Ray Fair, who noted that the increase in grades started during COVID-19 pandemic, and it has continued to rise since then, with students averaging a 3.7 grade point average GPA, up from 3.6 in 2013-14. The details of the study were first shared with the Yale Daily News. How bad do you have to be in order to get a B at Yale? I honestly wouldn't know. I don't want to know. Of course, this is not just happening at Yale. All over the nation, good grades have essentially become meaningless at our major colleges and universities. Our kids have come to expect that success will just be handed to them, and as a result, our system is pumping out millions of young adults that are just like this guy. In an episode of Caleb Hammer's YouTube show, Financial Audit, 41-year-old Brent of Austin, Texas, reveals he has no steady job, no savings, and relies on his parents to pay the rent, but he refuses to accept work that's beneath him, quote unquote. "You're being a baby," Hammer told him after he confessed he turned down a job at a fast food restaurant. "Why will you not accept the jobs that you feel are slightly beneath you?" Our system of education is theoretically supposed to be preparing our kids to face the real world, and that just isn't happening. The real world is not pleasant. It does not hand out participation trophies. In fact, there are times when the real world will pick you up and knock the breath out of you, but now we have vast hordes of young people that cannot deal with the real world, and they are completely and utterly unprepared to deal with the extremely uncertain future that our society is now facing. We don't do our kids any favors by coddling them. They need to be challenged, and unfortunately our absolutely pathetic system of education is not challenging them at all. And he says must have. Michael Snyder says, "I recommend buying Michael's new book, Chaos. It's insightful content and engaging narrative make it a must read for anyone seeking knowledge of inspiration." This is on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.